Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and it's mailbag time here. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, and join us when we go live every single Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. That's where all these questions are from. First one, rolling in here from Anthony Morales. I can see 5 quarterbacks getting drafted before our time is in. We should get best available unless Carter is there. He can help our D-line. I can't think of the 5 quarterbacks that you're referring to. To me, it's 4. And, it's Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson. Those will be the only 4 quarterbacks taken in round 1. There's not another quarterback to me that goes in round 1, let alone before pick number 7. Luckily for you, though, if I'm wrong, well, I'm going to be live, and I'm going to be wrong while we're doing it because Jeremy and I, live for the entire 2023 NFL Draft, every single pick, I almost said 3 rounds. All 3 days, all 7 rounds. We're going to keep you guys updated. And I know some of y'all can't always tune into our live shows. Well, there is this feature. It's called Super Thanks, which if you want to get questions like you see here on the mailbag on the show, you can donate by Super Thanksing. There's a heart, money symbol. It's basically a super chat just for non-live shows. We would greatly appreciate it. Let's go to this one. Rolling in here from Alex. I think I know the answer. Should the Raiders bring back Mariota? So for those of you that are watching this live Tuesday, the Atlanta Falcons, they released Marcus Mariota. Obviously, he was a very intriguing player on the Raiders report and on the Raiders for 2 years, being the backup to Derek Carr. But before I give my answer on it, I'm just going to give you you were right, by the way. You're like, someone's 100% going to ask a Mariota question. So should the Raiders sign Marcus Mariota? Give me a yes. Give me a no. I asked this question the other day around Carson Wentz, and I kind of did it as a trolling job, which I was amazed on how many people thought that I actually wanted the Raiders to get Wentz. But my answer to this is no. Thank you, Mariota. Thanks for everything you did before for the Raiders. But, man, we gotta stop this guy once played for the Raiders. He's no longer on a team. Should we bring him back? What the Raiders should do is you should re-sign Jarrett Stidham and then get another cheap quarterback probably in the draft is the way I think this is going to end up going down. Let's go to the next one. Rolling in here from Jason 6. I want Levis. How can they make that happen? I do think that Will is going to be an interesting prospect because if you were to ask me which quarterback do I think is the most likely that the Indianapolis Colts take, I think it's Will Levis because of the way that their front office thinks and operates. They want a big, arm, strong quarterback. That's how they go. The only way that you guarantee the fact that you're going to get him is by trading up to number 3 with the Arizona Cardinals. I'm not trading up to take Will Levis. Right now, if the Raiders' plan is to take a QB, I do think that one of the top 4 is going to be there. And if you're like, I don't care who it is, cool. The only QB that I could see McDaniels actually trading up for is Bryce Young because I think that they like Bryce Young the most. Stroud is another interesting prospect, which, speaking of this, Papaya Man, how likely do you think we move up to number 1 in the draft? It's a 0. You're not moving up to number 1. I've talked about this before where it would probably cost a first-round pick in 2025, 2024, and then your first 3 picks this year, 7, 38, and 70. If you're willing to do all of that to go up to number 1, oh, man, you got to be right. Because if you're wrong after making a trade like that, you're definitely gone. Let's go to the next one. Rolling in here from Ernie. What up, Ernie? Yo, Mitch. McDaniels said in this press conference that we need a quarterback that is good in that position in order to win. Gives me hope that we won't tank next season. I hope the Raiders don't tank. I think they want somebody who's mentally strong, right? Like, every head coach wants somebody who's mentally strong. And you need to be mentally strong to be able to play in this league. And, yeah, you could point the finger at Carr in certain situations. And does he have a lot of comebacks in the fourth quarter? Absolutely. But you also got to think of what McDaniels knows from D.C. And from this past season, D.C. was just about everything but clutch in every sense of the word. I mean, their offense did not move the football. And whether that was all on Derek, no, of course not. But it does sound like McDaniels isn't going to be taking much blame for that anytime soon. Now, if you guys haven't already gotten started with our awesome sponsor, Athletic Greens, I mean, dude, seriously, what are you waiting for? If you're going to party hard, You got to take care of yourself, and that's why I'm excited that we have partnered up here with AG1. The Raiders Report is sponsored by Athletic Greens. I take AG1 by Athletic Greens literally every day. Get comprehensive and convenient daily nutrition at athleticgreens.com/chatsports. I gave AG1 a try because I wanted immune system support and wanted a supplement that tastes great. I take AG1 in the morning, and it makes me feel ready to take on my day. My grandma, she always said, the early bird gets the worm, and AG1 inspires and motivates me to get as many worms as possible every day. AG1 really helps me getting my day started, getting out of bed, especially when Mount Raidermore shows up. It can be difficult, and I'm a person who likes and needs a routine. AG1 helps me stick to my healthy routine. Wake up early, take my AG1, take Chuck for a walk, then hit the gym before work. Covering my nutritional basis for the day literally couldn't be easier, which is why I trust Athletic Greens. I just mix one small scoop of AG1 with water and drink it first thing in the morning. Done. Simple. I also like it because it costs less than $3 a day. That's pretty freaking good if you ask me. It's a really effective daily habit with the highest quality sourced ingredients. It is a win-win. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. So, nation, what are you waiting for? Go to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. That's athleticgreens.com/chatsports. Check it out. Link's going to be available for you guys in the comments and in the description of today's video. If you don't get your AG1, then this guy is going to come looking for you. What up, Brandon? If Jenny G is our quarterback this season, I'll go ballistic. He doesn't improve. The Raiders, Ziegler, McDummy shouldn't even think about it. I think it comes down to money, right? Like, if Garoppolo thinks that he deserves over $25 million a year, I would laugh in his face. I have said before on a show that I wouldn't pay him over $10 million, and I say I wouldn't pay him over $10 million because I look at the Raiders' current situation. They're not in a position right now to pay a mediocre quarterback anything over $15, $20 million a year, which is why I hope they go with a rookie QB. I agree, though. I'd be very mad. The two worst things I think the Raiders could do at the QB position, Garoppolo or trading for Mac Jones. That's what I do not want. Let's go to Shane. F the clown system. What day 3 quarterback would you take? If you want upside, I do think upside, Dorian Thompson-Robinson has some upside because he's athletic, though his arm decision-making is not there. The guy I'd probably go with Jake Haener from Fresno. Like, to me, if you're looking for a Brock Purdy, a dude who can be accurate, yeah, he doesn't have great arm strength, but can be a leader in the huddle, you just got to put the right system around him. The problem is the Raiders are not the 49ers in terms of what their teams look like right now. Let's go to Caleb. Have you ever seen Draft Day? Yes, that's the amount of picks you would have to give up. I've seen Draft Day, but what's funny about that movie is how crazy it is. Like, if you're an actual NFL fan, you watch that movie, you're like, yeah, that trade never happens. Like, and the way that everything goes down doesn't go down. If you know any other great sports movies, though, let me know down in the comments. What up, Anthony? I can see the Panthers, Falcons, Washington trading up to get quarterbacks. We should just draft heavy defense and get Rodgers, hopefully. I mean, the more and more reports that come out, it does not sound like Rodgers is going to be the quarterback of the Raiders. Yes, we will need to wait and see. However, I think no matter what, the Raiders got to try to build a defense, right? Like, you got to try to build a defense as much as humanly possible. But I agree. I think the teams that are the most likely to trade up for a QB, I think Houston's up there. I think Indianapolis is a team to keep in mind. I agree that Atlanta is definitely a team. Carolina is a team to keep in mind. Those, to me, are all the teams that could potentially trade up. Even the New York Jets. If the Jets get ballsy enough, I could see them trying to do something. Let's go to Sinker Raider with Washington. Washington tagging Daron Payne. Who is your top defensive tackle? The top defensive tackle for me has always been Javon Hargrave. But it's like, how do you go about it? Because Hargrave's 29, and then you got Daron Payne, who was 25, right? So long-term, short-term, depends what you're looking at. I do think, though, right now for the Raiders, the defensive tackles need to be, am I going to spend $20 million on Javon Hargrave, or do I want to spend $11, $12 million on a guy like Dalvin Tomlinson? There's a lot of different routes you can go. So, Jeremy, Let's go to this question real quick here. Should the Raiders offer Javon Hargrave a $20 million a year in a deal? Like, is that a deal you would do? I was going to say, do you remember the old show Deal or No Deal? But that's what we're going to play. I forget what the host's name was. Howie? Howie Mandel. We're going to be Howie Mandel here. Deal or no deal?
Deal.
Sounds like Jeremy's going to take the deal on that. Should the Raiders offer Javon Hargrave $20 million a year in a deal? I was kind of worried what you were about to expose there out of your box. Let's go to the next one. Rolling in here from Lord Body Bear. You need a Crosby jersey for your collection. You know, here's the thing. I've been trying to add to my jersey collection, and I hope that players don't take this the wrong way. Obviously, I cheer for players and I root for guys, but I don't do this show for players. Like, players are going to come and go. Raider Nation is always going to be the nation. So, like, that's why I like my Lord Buddy Bear jersey. It's why I like my Hellcat, my Tri-Van. I'm still waiting on my Raider Ron one to come in. We haven't had the right size, jersey, color, number. We haven't had that one laid out yet. But my goal is Wild 114. I want to get jerseys from people who watch and support me. That's what my jersey collection is going to be. Let's go to Zornell. At 5-12, McClown gets fired because fans sell their seat to other team fans. It's interesting that you bring that up because, you know, people are saying, oh, McDaniels' job is safe. His job is safe. We saw how frustrated Mark Davis was last season when, let's face it, the Raiders stadium was occupied 70-75% by 49ers, Chiefs. It was opposing teams were showing up more. If the Raiders are bad again and they do try to go all in and they try to win, if you're 5-12, yeah, it's not going to be great. If the plan is no matter what this season beholds, that they're going to get an opportunity next year, well, then I do think that that changes a little bit. Let's go to Ranger, do you copy? I'm an OG watcher. I remember you love John Johnson. Would you want him? John Johnson is another player that was released, I believe, on Tuesday by the Cleveland Browns. He signed a 3-year deal, and he was a guy that I liked a lot, but he was a player that I liked a lot in Gus Bradley's system. Like, to me, in order to have a successful Bradley defense, you need to have a solid, I'll call him a center field safety, a great free safety. That's what John Johnson is. I don't know how much of a fit he would be in the Patrick Graham system. He's been a good safety overall, but to me, there are so many other good safeties in this year's free agent class, it would come down to money. Let's go to Rusty Coat. I think athleticism makes up for a lot of growing pains. If Hooker, Levis, or Richardson are there, take them. Here's the problem. Hendon Hooker is not even in the same realm of athletic ability that Will Levis and Anthony Richardson are. Like, he's not in that conversation. To me, Hendon Hooker, in terms of athletic ability, is in the conversation of probably a little bit less than what C.J. Stroud is. Like, Stroud is a good athlete. Let's not get it twisted. Hendon Hooker is a good athlete. But Anthony Richardson and Will Levis are on a whole nother realm of athletic ability. Let's go to Juan Hernandez. What's going on with the whole Aaron Rodgers situation? Did you hear anything new? Haven't heard anything new. I was hoping that we'd get some more information today because usually Rodgers goes on the McAfee show on Tuesday, but no. I do think this is the longer this goes on, the longer that we don't know the situation of Rodgers, the more and more likely I start to think that he just ends up going back to the Green Bay Packers, and then Jordan Love looks for a new home. If Jordan Love is available, he's a player that I've talked about before. I think he's got legit upside. He's 26. If you were to tell me, all right, we miss out on, I don't know, the free agency quarterbacks, we miss out on even the draft, and you want to take somebody high upside, cheap deal for the next 2 years, Jordan Love would be an interesting option. That's all I'm saying. Now, if I don't get to your question, remember, I do try to roll through my DMs, but tonight, on Tuesday, this weekend, I'm just going to be real with you. It's going to be, I'm giving Alex a lot of attention. It's our anniversary weekend, so we got some stuff planned. But if you want to stay up to date with more news, if you want to see how my life goes outside of Chat Sports, and then if you want more personal interaction, it's over on Locals. Next one, rolling in here, Super Chat time. What do you think of Garrett Williams from Syracuse as a possible late corner? I can see him being a steal if he's healthy. So Garrett Williams, we actually talked about him, I want to say it was like a mock draft or two ago over on Locals. I'll say if you're looking for upside, okay, he has some upside. When I think about what type of players I want late in drafts, I look for upside. Like, that's just it. You look for a player who's got good athletic ability that could potentially turn into somebody you're like, all right, he's got the intangibles. Like Nate Hobbs to me was a player that, honestly, I didn't like all that much coming out of the draft, but I didn't realize how much of an athletic freak he was. Then you see the athletic freak, and then if it clicks, then you have a hell of a player. Garrett Williams has a lot of growing pains. We'll see, though. Late round pick could be something to at least monitor. If you made it this far in today's mailbag, I appreciate you. Take a second, subscribe, and then make sure you remember we're going to be live on Friday for a special Raiders happy hour. If it's anything like it was last week, you're definitely going to want to be there.